everyone. My name is Mike Tempestini. I'm the product owner for Epay Manager.
And I'm Ryan Johnson, Director of Product Management at OTR Solutions.
We're excited to give you a live look at Epay Manager. It's the central hub for brokers, carriers, and factors to get real-time visibility into billing, invoicing, and document audit. Carriers will start the process in their carrier portal. They can log in with their own account or just use a secure link from their email. Here's how invoicing works with Epay. Once a load is delivered, the broker will mark it delivered in their TMS. Because their TMS is connected to Epay Manager, that action triggers automated invoice creation and a proactive request to the carriers to submit the load documents and accept the invoice. We can see here that the invoice has already been created for them based on data from the TMS. All they need to do from here is upload their documents, review, and accept the invoice. Once the paperwork is attached and the invoice is accepted, Epay's Document Insights will automatically classify and review these documents against data from the transaction.
Moving back into Epay from the broker's view, here's where we will start. A stack of 70 invoices. In Epay, this is a list of 70 invoice transactions that have all been reviewed by carriers and had their paperwork attached. Now it's time for us to audit these transactions against their paperwork so that we can approve them for payment to our carriers and advance with invoicing our shippers.
Here's one of your soon-to-be favorite features, the Document Insights widget. It gives you a bird's-eye view of everything our best-in-class audit engine has already verified across the carrier's delivery documents. We can see here that the automation has verified all of the key checks. Do reference numbers match? Are signatures or receiver stamps present? Are there damages, shortages, or blurry documents that the customer won't accept? And does this satisfy all of my shipper-specific rules that have been pre-configured? The beauty of this is that as soon as documents hit the system, automation gets to work. You can review these manually, or you can create rules to automate rejections and approvals based on the audit results.
Overall, almost all of today's manual audit work in this area can be automated, reducing time spent on your AP audits by up to 75%.
All right, we're going to dive into examples where our automation will save you some headaches and take a look at some not so good examples. We've configured automation rules ahead of this demo to automatically reject transactions that don't meet our expectations once the carrier accepts their load with the paperwork attached. We're going to look at a transaction that has already been auto rejected based on an exception that our automation found and a rule that we set for it. In this case, the reference numbers do not match as represented by the X in the Doc Insights widget. We've caught an example where our customer reference number is off by just one character, something the human eye could easily miss. Instead of your team having to manually handle this, Epay has automatically contacted the carrier to request a resubmission, and the transaction has moved back to pending status.
You can also set a number of other rules in Epay to trigger the same action automatically, such as requiring that a lumper receipt is submitted for transactions where a lumper fee is present.
So now we're going to go back to the invoice transactions list. Because we did the legwork early on to set up rules to auto-reject certain transactions, everything on this list should be in a good spot for us to approve. As we spot check a few transactions in here, we can see green check marks where we expect them. We have a very high confidence in our automation, thanks to the 99.3% auto classification accuracy rate. But we understand that sometimes you may want to act as a final gate for a transaction's approval. In this case, the Document Insights will still augment your review considerably by highlighting the things you may want to look at. And if we did want to send something back to the carrier at this stage, the process is simple. We can reject the transaction with a reason and a note.
Yeah, this process allows document review to be exactly what you want it to be. It can be no touch, or your team can dig into the detailed review where they want to. Since we trust our automation, we're going to go ahead and approve everything in our invoice transactions list using Epay's bulk approval functionality.
And lastly, if you did want to utilize our fully automated doc audit workflow, you could create business rules to move your payables straight to approved without your team ever having to lift a finger.
All right, so now those 70 transactions we started with have all been approved. In addition, relevant updates to the transaction have also been automatically synced back to your TMS. And lastly, the execution of payments for these transactions are already in motion. When the terms chosen by the carrier earlier in the process come due, Epay will facilitate the processing of those payments if that's something you want Epay to help you with. But in the end, the choice there is totally yours.
At an average manual speed, your team could maybe review 3 or 4 invoices in the time it took us to demo this. We just approved north of 70 invoices in a little under 7 minutes. This powerful automation has been trained against millions of freight documents and billions of dollars in freight spend. And the best part about using Epay's document audit, it's part of a proactive and connected back office workflow. That means less duplicative efforts and wasted time for your team, reduced days to invoice, which leads to happier carriers and customers. In short, it's true back office automation.
If you'd like to see how Epay can transform your back office, feel free to visit our website and schedule a demo. Thanks.